Thank you for showing up to find out a little bit more about what I've been talking about with the empowered first 4 minute routine that has been a game changer for me. And so I want to share it with as many people who want to know about it as possible. In a nutshell, I've been a high school band director for 32 years, and I have absolutely loved my job. And like you, that job, if you're a music teacher, you understand how that job becomes your whole life a lot of the times, and how the needs of your students they seep into your whole life, because you want to nurture them way beyond teaching them the content, and being a music teacher and a band director becomes a way of life. But that comes at a cost sometimes to our own personal health and our families and our abilities to function as our own people, because we're so busy taking care of others. And I struggled with that a lot, because I had this goal of building a big high school band program, and I did that. I also gave birth to 3 children and raised them, and did all the other things that moms and wives and women do, and had a really hard time balancing it all a lot of the time, because I just threw myself into my work, especially, so much. And so it led to a lot of health issues for me. Those health issues manifested, the stress that I was feeling and under which I put myself, manifested in lots of health issues, from things that needed reconstructive surgery on my neck and my back, and hip replacement, foot surgery, reconstruction, just tons of surgeries. I was on a dozen different medications for ADHD, depression, anxiety, help me go to sleep, stay asleep, to keep my legs from kicking around at night, anti-stress medicine or anti-anxiety stuff, just all kinds of medication to help me deal with this, again, the symptoms of what the stress of my job and the life I was living was leading me. I would get sicker and sicker, and I would miss sometimes weeks or months of school at a time, because my body would shut down because I didn't listen to the small signals that it was giving me. Long story short, I wanted to get healthier, because I knew if I didn't, I wasn't going to be able to continue teaching music. It just wasn't feasible. So I did some drastic health changes. I did things that I needed to do to get myself off of all of the medications I was on, and then functioning better without them, becoming a lot healthier in a lot of ways, in every way. And when I took that journey in my own personal life, what happened was that healing journey healed me as a human being and as a person, but I became a different teacher. I became a better teacher. I became a better role model for my students. I taught from a place where I was much more pulled together, because I wasn't stressed and sick. When my body and my mind were healthier, I suddenly found I was back in that flow of teaching. I started this routine for myself, what I call my first 4 minutes, a personal mindfulness routine that I created. And then when I went back to school after having missed months again of school, this was several years ago, I told my students I'm no longer taking medicine for ADHD, which means all those things that are out there that distract me are still there, but I'm not using medication to help me focus anymore. And so I had told them that I practiced this new mindfulness routine in my home before I'd come to school every day to help me calm down and be more focused, and that it was hard for me to teach every hour and shift gears when another group of 60 kids would come in the class every hour. I needed to reset. And so I asked them if they would help me reset by just spending a couple of minutes with me doing that mindfulness routine. And God love teenagers and kids. They're amazing. In order for me to serve them, they knew I needed this. So they have done this with me bravely for the last 3 years. They went into this being kind of weird, as I did it the first few times, but they trusted me. And what I did is I invited them to bring stillness to their bodies and to simply be. And then I invite them, if they're comfortable, to close their eyes, otherwise to have a soft gaze and to just become comfortable and notice what their breath feels like. Sometimes I'll ask them to take their pulse. And then a couple minutes later, after I've gotten them more relaxed, I'll ask them to take it again. And inevitably, pulse rates lower 10 to 20 beats per minute, just during this little 4-minute routine that I have with the kids. What had happened, what I was intending to do was to just have an opportunity for me to kind of take a break, reset, and start my classes each day. But what has developed has been a routine that has taught my students every day when they come in how we're going to take these few minutes, and with my guided voice, I take them through just a body relaxation through their breath. I invite them to notice how it feels when they're relaxed. Sometimes I might say, today we're really going to be aware of intonation as we're playing, so will you tune into that? And when they're quiet like that, they're remembering what I'm asking them to do. And then I bring them back out of that really relaxed state with some deep breaths. We go immediately into our warm-up tuning, and within 4 minutes, we've gone from everybody into the band room, get your instruments and do all that, to we've physiologically have pulled those heart rates down, pulled everybody down into this nice calm space. It's as if we've taken a snow globe that had been shaken up, set it down, and allowed all that extra energy, or those snowflakes, to just disintegrate down to the bottom. And suddenly there's a beautiful scene in there that's so vivid, and the vision becomes clear. And when I start every class every day like that, that 4-minute investment, we start with a clean slate. The kids literally become more in tune with each other because their bodies have calmed down. They have allowed the amygdalas to relax. We can now take information in differently because we're not in any kind of stress situation. And when you do this every single day with your students in a way that's calming and relaxing, and you bring them back out of that and you tune and you're ready to start class, there are two things guaranteed to continue for the rest of the period. They will continue to breathe, and they will continue to hear your voice. Breathing and the sound of your voice have now become two triggers for calming the students down, because you ask them, you invite them to notice how they feel. Notice your breath. And when you breathe in deeply and you exhale, notice what it feels like to relax. And when you say those words to the kids and they physically feel it and they notice it, that becomes what they do in your presence. And when you practice that, just like when you practice any technique on your instrument, you practice that muscle memory over and over. The muscle memory they start to have with you is, I hear your voice, I breathe deeply, I physically relax, and it becomes second nature. I'm using this in my classroom every day and have been for several years, and musically it has made unbelievable changes with the kids. The intonation is so much easier, playing in tone with each other, because we become one vibrational unit. These kids are our instruments, and now they're in tune with each other, just like we have all of our keys in tune on the piano. So it's a very simple tool. It's something biologically programmed in us, is to deeply breathe and exhale and relax, but we don't do it intentionally, most of us. And when we take the time to intentionally implement this one simple practice, I can guarantee you, if you are as diligent about this as you are about implementing important techniques on learning your instruments or anything else that's been important to you, and you see the results that come as the daily practice of building up a skill. And this is a skill, learning to be calm and relax. Our children, our students don't have it. Our society doesn't have it. We are giving our kids a gift that pays dividends in so many ways, starting in your classroom with classroom management. That nobody comes in late to class anymore because they know the class is going to immediately be in this quiet space. They crave it. I ask students to write reflections every quarter on this, and the ways they tell me they use this in the rest of their life they just brings me to tears, knowing that I've given them this tool that they're using at home. When their parents fight, sometimes this helps them calm down. When they're driving and they get uptight or nervous about something, they just take deep breaths, and then they are able to calm down and stay focused. When they are taking all these high pressure tests, which all of our music kids are taking those all the time, these are techniques where they can have easier recall because they're not in stress mode. So we give them this gift, and it pays dividends everywhere. If you'd like to know more about how to implement it in your classroom so it sticks, so it becomes something that is a tool and not something you try a couple times and it doesn't work, and then you go, well, that doesn't work. It doesn't work if you're not really careful about the way you intentionally introduce it to your students, how you do it. And your way would look different than mine. So you'd want to think about, how is it your relationship with your students, and how do you invite them into this if it's not part of your practice? So there are lots of things to think about, but I wanted to plant that seed with you today about how important taking those first few minutes of your class every time you gather your students together to say, hey, I'm here with you now. I am pulling you under my wing. Let's put our attention on this project here together. Whatever it is we're going to do today, let's be present with each other. And I just am so excited about this that I wanted to put it out there. I would love to know if you have questions about this or comments. Feel free to send that information. Send me an email or a message if you want a little more information, or if you'd like to talk about how you can implement this in your life and in your classroom. By all means, just just shoot me a message at empowered educator, or Lesley, Lesley, at empowered, the letter M, POWERED, educator, EDUCATUR.com. Yeah, Lesley at empowerededucator.com. And just let me know you want to chat, and I will get back to you, and we can talk about how this process can help you in your personal life, help you in your teaching life, and get you that sense of whatever it is you're looking for, peace, or back in that flow and joy, that whole reason that you became a music teacher. Let you get back to that, and let's let some of the stress go. So with you on this journey.